So now that we have gtest working in our project here, I'm going to actually show you how to use gtest a little bit, and then we'll use gtest to start writing our vector stuff. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to add a new, I just want a compilation unit. I'm going to throw this compilation unit away. I'm using it just for this video to show you how gtest roughly works. I'm going to call it my temp test file. Hit enter. There we go. It's a compilation unit, not a header file. Pound include gtest/gtest. The only include you need to ever worry about is gtest. They made that quite nice. Gtest is macro heavy. Okay, so let me just show you how this works. Test my arbitrary test, or let's see, this is category name. Category name. This is my arbitrary test name. Okay, and the reason why I call them arbitrary is these are arbitrary. We'll see how we can use those a little bit more effectively later. And then we drop curlies here. So it looks like this is a function, when really, think of it more like I'm declaratively saying what, not exactly how. I want Google to run this test, and the code I run in here, I'm going to write my testing code in here, and hopefully it passes, and if it fails, then it'll be reported under this category and this test name. So let's test something. In fact, I think we'll test the multiplication operator in C++ to make sure it works correctly. How about that? Keep it simple. Int I gets 7, int j gets 10, and then again, gtest is macro heavy, so expect equal, the first argument is called expected, and this is the actual, so I expect 7 times 10 to be 70, so I expect 70, and int result gets I times j. So here's the result here. So I expect 70 to be equal to result. Now there are several other macros we'll see as we go along and write tests. There's expect death. Ooh, that doesn't sound very comforting. But expect. There's less than, or less than equal, less than, near. I don't know what any is. Those kind of things. Expect. Oh, if you want test exceptions, we got all that. Lots of expects. Let's say, here's another version of expect that might come in handy. Expect true, result equal to 70. Okay, notice this macro, it takes one argument, it's condition. It expects it to be a Boolean condition, so now I have to literally say result equals 70. So maybe you like this more than this. It doesn't really matter as long as you're consistent. Now we need to tell Google Test, you need to say, hey, go find all the tests we wrote. We happen to write one over here in this temp test file.cpp. Go find all my tests, execute them, give me a report, tell me what failed, tell me what didn't fail. So the place to do that is in main. Again, we need to pound include gtest/gtest.h. Then down here, I need to say, oh, what is it? It's init? I can't remember. Let me go look here. Oh, it's testing. Thank you. Testing. Init Google tests. Initialize. Oh wait, did you notice though? argc argv. It wants the command line arguments here. So int argc char star argv array. So now I can pass argc here and argv. But if you notice, it wants a pointer to argc instead of argc's value itself. So I'll give it the reference there. And macro again. Run all tests. Okay. So if you want to go look at these macros and see how it expands and see what it literally is being pasted there. But if you're like me and just high level want this to be declarative, go run all the tests. It'll go and it'll find all the tests and all the compilation units and run them for me. I'm going to control F5 this. It's set up as the startup project, remember. Here's our beautiful report. He even gives us green in the console window. That should make you feel warm and fuzzy. So let's see what this report says. Run. It looks like it's running my arbitrary category name dot my arbitrary test name. It looks like all was okay. My arbitrary category name dot my arbitrary test name. Looks like it took 0 milliseconds. One test from blah blah blah, 2 milliseconds total. Global test environment. One test case ran, 4 milliseconds total. One test. Passed, we're okay. Good, warm fuzzies. Let's do something bad. I'm going to go back over to my test file, and let's just say results should be 60. Maybe I can't multiply. I had a hard time in 3rd grade. You never know. Let's build this, run this. The report will be different this time. Oh, we get some red. We get some red. But this is also another argument for unit testing. Look at this. My arbitrary category name dot my arbitrary test name, and it gives me the actual file name where that's located. Error, value of result. Okay, and it got result. It used the macro stringizing trick to get result here, and it gave us result there. Okay, let me actually prove that. I'm going to call it keyboard mash, keyboard mash, keyboard mash. Run this again, and you see that we have the keyboard mash letters right here. Okay, the actual value was 70, but you said you expected 60. This test failed. All right, and then let's look here. Notice it didn't. Let's go a little further with this. I'm going to say 90 here. So we know this one's going to fail. We know this one's going to fail. Do they both execute anyways? Let's run it and find out. This is called wrestling. All right, notice here 70, 60. Okay, that failed, but it continued to run the test and said, hey, this condition you gave me of keyboard mash equal 90, that was false. I expected it to be true. So this test is still considered to be failure. And then we get the final report here at the bottom. One test, failed one test listed below, and this is the test. Okay, nice little gtest. This is kind of convenient. Let's do another test. Okay, test. And again, I'm going to say my arbitrary category name, but then some other test name. How about that? You go down here and let's just let's do nothing in here. Let's just leave it empty, and this an empty test that doesn't have any errors is a passing test, is it not? So let's run that. We should see that in our report as well. Boom. We see 2 tests. From 1 test case ran 3 millitests. 1 test listed below. So again, the failures there, that sort of thing. 1 failed test. We like green, we don't like red. Let's get as much green as possible. So this is fun doing these little. I hope this gives you an idea of the magic that Google Test is using with macros and the automation of unit testing. But let's actually use this now to drive our code and do test-driven development and make our vector for our game, our vector class for our game. We'll continue that in the next video.